So we've come together to talk about sustainability. Each of you has an important track record in sustainability. And I was just hoping to hear from each of you just a bit about how you got interested in it.
Ani bonjour, everyone. My name is Mikoohns. My name means beaver in Anishinaabe-Moan. And as beavers, we are guardians of the land and we build things. In our culture and our belief system, we believe that every person has a purpose here in this world. And that is the importance of our names. That simple foundation is what inspired me to pursue my path, and it's just part of my journey. And everyone here too in this group is also following that path too and that journey, which is what we're supposed to be doing.
I like the idea. That's what we're supposed to be doing. I wish my life were that clear. Allison, tell us a bit about your pathway.
I don't know if I can top your story. I'm touched by your words and just the way you express it. It feels very profound. I don't know. I'm touched by what you're saying. So I happened to encounter some folks from Western Sustainability just by happenstance. They were holding a virtual event, and I went, and at the end of the event, the facilitator said, if anyone has any ideas to increase sustainability engagement on campus, I'm ready to hear it. And that was, I think, what my brain needed to hear. So I went up to her afterwards and I said, I made these sample TikTok videos for you. I think this could bring people to your events, get people engaged in sustainability on campus, and it took off. And I stayed as a part of their team until I graduated just this past June.
You came to Western. That in itself was this transformational moment.
Definitely.
And it got bound up with sustainability as one of the vehicles for that transformation.
Absolutely.
So that's a very powerful connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Ethan, tell us a little bit about your journey towards sustainability.
Yeah, for sure. When I was younger, I wasn't allowed to watch TV past 9 o'clock. So if I wanted to stay up, I had to watch the news with my parents, which was kind of a unique thing, but it definitely shaped the way I see the world. You hear about climate change, all these horrible things that are happening to the environment, how the world's changing, and I wanted to make a difference. That was my goal. And I thought, well, the best way I can do it is by going into engineering and trying to make a difference that way. To make an impact on the environment, to build better technology, to show that sustainability can be a path forward.
I gotta say I'm a little bit jealous of you. I'm dead serious. I'm a little bit jealous of the opportunities that I think you all are already actualizing and you will continue to pursue. What's fascinating to me is all three of you, the sustainability has been kind of integral to your intellectual development, your professional identity, your personal lives too, I'm pretty sure. I'm curious to know, what are some of the roles that engineers will play or are playing in making a more sustainable world that you find especially interesting?
What excites me the most about the engineer's position in the world when it comes to sustainability is the ability to build and develop new technologies and push the frontier of science. Even here at Western, we built a direct air capture device, so that essentially takes carbon dioxide out of the air, and then you can either store it permanently or use it like in an industrial process.
As engineers, we are the designers of the world. We have the ability to create everything, even everything that's created right now. It's technology.
Everything we're sitting in.
Exactly. And that's really powerful. Either help the world or destroy the world. I learned so much about myself and my culture and my identity. We believe that all nature is connected and everything is our kin. And even if you feel that really small inkling feeling of, how can I make a difference today? How can I help pollution? How can I help the water? How can I respect animals? That makes a huge difference.
I can see the sustainability pieces, the connection to water, the connection to the land, the connection to Indigenous studies, right? And the respect for the land that's sort of running all through.
If I'm learning about the environment around us from that perspective, about the plants as sort of kin in a way, right? I feel more connected to them, and I feel more responsible to the environment around us in a local way.
And it's every little bit counts, like you said earlier, recycling effectively, using a reusable water bottle, walking to campus instead of driving. There's so many little steps that you can take that ingrain that sustainability even further into your DNA and into your lifestyle. That are going to make a difference.
And not doom and gloom and I don't know how I'm going to save the world type of way, right?
So the save the world narrative doesn't take you in a helpful direction at all.
Might not feel the answer of how am I going to save the world? But it's the simple rule of reciprocity and giving back to nature to show nature that you respect it. Imagine if everyone did that. How big of a change that we could make together.
A couple of years ago, Western did a strategic plan. And when we listened to the community, our students, our faculty, staff, our alumni, overwhelmingly, they talked about sustainability as a critical piece of that plan. Does it still feel like an urgent matter? And can you just give me an example of that kind of urgency? Allison, we start with you?
Definitely, I think so. I think as any student, you can feel a bit overwhelmed with the big things in your life. But ultimately, I think as a collective, we've come to understand that there simply is nothing bigger than our changing climate.
Might make you go like pull the covers over your head, right? I can't do that.
Yeah, and I think that's a common feeling, right? And I think that's maybe why some people shy away from learning about sustainability because it's too overwhelming and I've got step one on, right?
Would you agree that sustainability is as urgent as it's been over the last several years?
Yes, we are in a state of a climate emergency right now. And many of our First Nations people are the witnesses of that. We're seeing flooding, we are seeing fire emergencies and poisoning of the fish and plants that our people can no longer eat. There are many First Nations people across North America who still live a somewhat nomadic lifestyle and live off of the land. And as a collective, it's very important for us to work together in order to find solutions that will be able to impact the greater world in the future.
For me especially, it's one of the most pressing concerns I have. And while that might not be the most pressing thing for everyone, I think it's in the back of everyone's minds that's our age. Everyone knows about it. They know it's there. They want to make a difference. It's not always they're going to be the person to take the first step and they're going to be the leader in an initiative, but you need people to follow as well or support that person that's wanting to make a change directly.
That's sort of what Mikoohns is saying in a way, right? The helping hand piece, everybody coming along together.
If you feel overwhelmed, if you think it's too much, just try to refocus. It's one step at a time. We're going to do this together, and it's going to work because it has to work.
I'd like to take it a step further, and I think it'd be important to integrate environmental change and sustainability into the curriculum of all different faculties. And I think it's super doable too, and I think it's super applicable. I think integration into the curriculums over time is going to reinforce that message that not only that this is really important, but that you have a place in this fight for a more sustainable future, right?
You just can't be performative, I don't think. If those concepts get introduced in your first year or your second year and are reinforced throughout all those years, and it comes from an Indigenous perspective as well, that's going to be, I think, super powerful for students. And then you can show them how to get involved in those clubs over time as well through that connection too.
And jumping off your points, to have people who have been learning it both in the traditional sense and also in the academic sense is a very powerful tool that I believe the university could really, really benefit from.
The personal hands-on experience, right? It's not all book learning.
Exactly. It's very important for us as both colonial society and Indigenous society to work together. An example of that would be the two-row wampum, where we have the colonial society on one end and we have the First Nations on the other. And neither or ever jump into each other's canoes, but rather we float down this river in our canoes together. As a collective, it's very important for us to think that way together.
It's not going to be one campus in one university town at Western. It's going to be Western and Queen's and UBC and American schools and European schools and Australian schools all across the world. We're making a difference to help push this agenda forward.
Really it's a global problem and global solutions are called for. Allison, Mikoohns, Ethan, thank you so much for the opportunity to sit down this afternoon. We appreciate it.